Hi, welcome to our Call to Learn show.
Yes, and today ends the end of the curiosity one. We're talking about curiosity, so I'm going to make you curious for the rest of the thing. Tom and I have been doing something with our family for the past, I guess, right after your heart problems, we started this. So we had so many miracles happen, and we wanted to do something to show that. So we created something, and we have made it mobile so that we can show you. So stay tuned for that at the end of the show, or towards the end of the show.
Okay, just a couple announcements. We're going to talk about that. So a couple announcements are that we are going to be having a YouTube channel that you can go and view all of these live events, and you can view all kinds of different, all the little tips that we have as far as excuse me, the relationship tips we have, as well as these interviews, the interviews, and the little bits and pieces. So there'll be, you can go on, there'll be a playlist that's all curiosity, and there'll be more than what we've been able to bring you.
Oh yeah, a lot more.
And so then,
a lot more.
Then we'll also show them, you know, just all the different kinds of questions.
We're also going to put the full interview of each one of the presenters on, like the whole thing, so that you'll be able to go and see it thing. So they're usually between 30 to 45 minutes usually. And if you want to hear someone's whole interview, you can. Otherwise, we're just going to be breaking up into pieces.
Which is actually going to be...
You can do it either way, pieces or whole.
I think people are going to like it anyway, because then they can, if they watch the whole video, they get a chance to know that presenter more.
Yeah.
Just like we got to when recording and then editing it, then they'll be able to get to know them like we did. So that I think you'll really like that. And we're going to put all of that on YouTube. And in addition to on YouTube, what else? Oh, it'll of course be on our Call to Learn site as well.
Yeah.
On the membership site. So, anything else that we wanted to announce?
Nope, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, just a quick reminder now, and then we'll remind you at the end too, that next Saturday at 10 a.m. is our monthly Call to Learn class, and that's 3 hours. And you got to come join us 10 a.m. on the 11th on Saturday.
Yeah, and it's going to be fun. We're focusing on fathers. We've interviewed 3 different fathers, and they talk to us about, well, they do a presentation, but they're also going to talk to us about what they do and what the fathers do, or how their role is in homeschooling. So it'll be pretty exciting.
Then we're going to see how this works, but you're going to interview me as well.
Yes, I am.
Which, of course, she already knows me, so we'll try. We're hoping to make it. She's hoping to have some unique ideas to ask me, so that I won't be expecting it. So it will be more realistic for you all watching.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So curiosity.
Yes. So let's do a little review of what we've learned so far. We've watched 6 different videos on other people's views of curiosity. We went through the curiosity bag, and that was just, you know, like flashlight and tape measure and magnifying glass, things like that we did the first week. And then we also talked about how not to answer their questions, and how it's important not to answer their question, because as soon as you do, then their brain stops. But if you continue just to say, well, answer their question with another question, be interested, but that's really important to keep them curious, to keep them learning, to keep them asking questions. Well, that, then this, and if that, then this. And that's really fun to do. And then today, of course, we're going to be talking about curiosity still. This will be our last week in curiosity. And this time we're going to focus on questions. And we're going to bring out the thing that we use to help create those questions. So yeah, I think we'll start with Heidi Latham. So Heidi Latham came in, and I asked her the question about curiosity. So let's hear what she has to say.
Okay.
So another thing that we do in homeschooling is that we're teaching our children, right? And as we're teaching our children, we need to, sometimes they don't want to learn. So how do you go about creating that curiosity for the want to learn in your children?
You know, I am a firm believer in good books. Okay. I really am. I feel like, you know, when you have those kids that are having those problems, get a good book and just read a good book and read it and read it and read it. You know, I have one that struggles with reading, but through reading good books out loud. His comprehension. I mean, he's the one. Please, Mom, read another chapter. Please read another chapter. Please read another chapter. And depending on what you're reading, it may be a country you want to study, or it may be a time period you want to study. But I find good books, to me, is how we open the door to being curious about things.
Okay, so you read the books, and then and hopefully they have questions. Is that what you're thinking?
Absolutely, yeah.
Or do you ask them questions while you're reading?
Yeah, we do all the above.
Okay.
Talk about the book and the characters in the book and did they have character and would you have done this or done this differently or whatever. But I love good books. I feel like good books just opens up and it just creates a desire to learn.
Yeah, it does.
So.
Yeah, love it. Great.
Okay, so that was Heidi talking about reading.
Yeah, she said she creates curiosity with just reading books. That's all she does, really, right? And that does curiosity. Reading books can actually, reading books can create a lot of curiosity, especially in really good books. So I want to ask you a question. Why would you label your children?
What? Okay, I know I'm acting here, but seriously, that was when you first told me that one. I was like, you don't label kids. You don't label people. That's supposed to be a no-no. We've learned this in psychology for a long time now.
Yeah, and in fact, there's a lot of things like even the books are out there that says, what is that? Special? I am special.
Oh, right. And not even.
You don't let those labels stick, right?
Yeah.
But I'm going to teach you to label your children.
Okay, we'll find out why.
Do you want to learn now or do you want to learn later?
Well, I always want to know everything now.
Okay. Well, it's because you label your children curious.
So in other words, what you're saying is you're putting on, you're getting them used to, your whole mindset is that they will be curious.
Yeah.
So that hopefully they will be.
Right. Well, and you keep creating that. Oh, that's such a great question. That's more evidence that you're a curious person.
Yeah.
Right?
I love that you're so curious.
Yeah, I love that you're curious. Wow, look at that curious boy over there.
See?
So the more they hear it, the more they feel that they're curious, the more curious they're going to become. And of course, that happens the opposite too. But we want them to be curious. We want to label them. We want to, and I think it's really, really fun. I learned this really early in my marriage is to talk about your children to other people while they're listening, like while they're still in the room. So Tennyson's really good at this. I'll be talking to him about that. And Tennyson did this and this and this and this, and he'll be listening in. And then later he'll ask me about it. Yeah, Mom, you said this about me. Is that really true? I'm like, I don't lie. That is really true. You are really smart.
Well, it gives added credibility.
Yeah.
Because when you just say it to someone, if I just say to you, you're beautiful, you like, yeah, whatever, you're my husband, you're supposed to say that.
Yeah.
That's your attitude.
Yeah.
But if I'm telling other people how beautiful you are or how smart you are, then you go, well, he really believes that. Why would he be telling other people that?
Yeah.
And I think in addition to that, I think it's really great to tell people, even if it's not around other people, even if it's not around your children or your spouse, how you want them to be. Not just saying things that you already know that they're smart and whatnot, but how you want them to be, even when they're not in the room, because it solidifies that more in your own self, your own heart.
Yeah.
And gets you to believe it and understand it better, and you then treat them in a way that that they will become more that.
Yeah. Remember when our youngest son was like so obstinate and disobedient, and we were like, "You're so disobedient. You're so obstinate.
We're
you're
like,
so
wait a second.
Yeah, we have to switch our talking so that it will help him and change him." So yeah, that's really important. So other things that you can label your children with are thinkers. Anything to do with their self-mind, right? Not or what God would think about them. You are a child of God. You are thinkers. You're curious. You're wanderers. And those are the kinds of labels you want to label your kids so that they can remember to listen to their own voice and not just Satan's voice who's going to tell them the negative. And you can also tell them the positive too, but it's really important to focus on their voice so that their voice can stand out and they can continue that curiosity and understand the difference between the three voices that are in their heads.
And I think it's really important maybe just to remind everyone what we talked about before, that those are the three voices. You have God, you have Satan, and you have your own voice. And your own voice is that curious one.
Yeah.
It's the one asking questions. And when you ask the right questions, your subconscious mind, and actually I believe that you're actually inviting, if you're saying, why am I so stupid? You're inviting Satan to go ahead and tell you just how stupid you are.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you
or
say,
your mind's going to find the answers of
Yeah.
why you're stupid and give
or
you
if you say,
evidence.
I'm a really good person,
Mm-hmm.
then you're inviting God in to
Yeah.
say, I'll give you all the evidence that you are,
Yes,
in addition to your
exactly.
own subconscious mind.
All right,
All
let's watch video number
So I've
2, and this
pulled
is
up this. Yeah, go ahead.
This is Belinda Valentine, and she was our science teacher and taught us a lot about science and gravity and things like that when she was teaching us last time we had the conference. Anyway, so she'll be answering the question on curiosity, and I don't know, just think about what she says. She's such a deep thinker and a great, amazing teacher. So see what she says.
She talks about all kinds of things,
Yeah.
just about any. Well, in fact, when we contacted her to be part of the College Learn conference, she was like, well, just tell me what you wanted me to talk about. I can talk about just about anything. And she really can.
Yeah, she
We've
really
been
can.
in
She's
some,
a great literature teacher. She's a great artist.
We've done a lot with her in different co-ops and groups and whatnot to do stuff with, and she's got a lot of knowledge in a lot of areas. So here is Belinda Valentine.
In curiosity, how do you build up your kids' curiosity? I know you're so good at this. So if you were to think of just a few ways to help them become curious and want to learn.
I think it can start at any time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like I started when they were young,
Okay.
mostly because I think that's my personality.
Mm-hmm.
And I've chosen to make that a part of my personality.
Yeah.
When they ask a question, hands down, I'll respond.
Mm.
I don't know
You
the
stop everything and just like, let's answer.
Well, and I look them in the eyes.
Good.
And they know, I feel like if they know they've been heard, even if you don't know the answer, they have power.
Yeah.
And they expect me to look them in the eye.
That's good.
So they know that their curiosity is valid and appreciated, even if I can't do it right then.
Yeah.
But if I say I can't do it now, let's talk about it in a bit, then really you have to talk about it in a bit. Because they're going to move on and you have to bring it back up. And they may no longer want to talk about it in 45 minutes. That's okay. If you honor the fact that they asked the question and you're willing to talk about it now,
I like that. Yeah.
then they learn that mom is going to be respectful to me.
Yeah.
And mom's going to respect my questions. And they know that it can't be now, but it can be later.
Yeah.
I think another thing is ask questions yourself.
Ah, good.
Like, why? So we went hiking. Why are the leaves red and some yellow? Like, why is that? And they obviously don't know the answer.
Yeah.
I happen to know the answer. The chlorophyll is all gone out. So why were they green and now they're red? And, is their blood changing color? Well, do they have blood? Will they have a xylem and phloem? You're just kind of talking to them. Like, ask a question.
Yeah.
The chlorophyll goes away with the cold, and the other colors show up. And, that's, fascinating to them right now.
Yeah.
And it works. So, ask questions. Why is that bird doing that? We have a jaybird that's hiding peanuts all over the place.
Oh.
Why is he doing that? Where is he hiding them?
Yeah.
So my kids watched for a couple of hours and took all the peanuts he had and made a new pile. So he hid them and then we unhid them for him.
No.
But he discovered our little pile. So the neighbor is the one who has, she puts the peanuts out on her balcony. And then he goes and hides them everywhere. So then we collect them and put them on. We have this little piece of dirt and we put them on the pile of dirt. And he went nuts. And why? What's he thinking? What's happening in what is the bird trying to do? The bird's trying to prepare for winter. And how is he going to find them all? And will they grow? So my kids like, will this peanut grow? And we put the peanut in the water and it started to grow.
Wow, cool.
And so just asking questions and taking the time to do that. I don't know. Be curious yourself by example.
There you go. Yeah, by example. Seems to be the answer to everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's sad but true.
We've got to be curious if we want them to be curious.
That was Belinda Ballantyne.
She's probably one of my favorite answers to that. She's just ask questions, keep curious, be curious yourself. And I loved what she said about is they ask a question, immediately be attentive and look them in the eye and to be able to answer them. If you can't answer them right now, make sure you're not lying to them and go back to that. So
Well, I like your point of say we're not going to deal with that. We're not going to talk about that right now. We'll talk a little bit later, or we're coming to that a little bit later. But make sure you do.
yes.
I think one of the things that I learned early on with the kids was it's really important not to just say, "Oh, just a minute," and then have it be 10 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Because we wonder why. Then we wonder why when we tell them to come.
Yeah.
And they say, they think, oh, well, I could just say just a minute, and then they'll come a half hour later because we trained them to do that.
Right.
So anyway, that's not on curiosity, but it's just one of those things that I learned, and she's trying to explain that you shouldn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So you ready for what I talked about at the beginning? And that was, what is something that we use as a family to help create that curiosity? So let's bring out our curiosity board. Now, this is more than what you need, but this is how we do it.
Okay, can you see? Yeah, you can see that pretty well. I'm going to set it kind of like this.
All right, so just so you know that all the 4 areas, we have a creation board, what we're praying for. We have a gratitude board, what miracles received. So as soon as if we write down what we want to pray for, and then pray for it, and then when that answer comes, we take the answer and we put it onto this side of the board, because then we're grateful for that answer. And we say our prayers with that. Thank you for answering these questions. Thank you for answering this question. Some of the things that we are praying for, bless Grandma. She had a knee operation, so we wanted to bless her. And so that when her knee is healed, we'll put it over here. Curiosity board is what I'll talk about in a second. And this is the last one over here is our memory board. And this is where we just favorite memories that we've had, whether it be a vacation or a family fun. We often have pictures here, but when this is done and when it gets too crowded, really, we put it into a book so that we can always flip through the book. But the curiosity is, what do we want to learn? If comes a time when they don't have we're not talking about it like immediately and we're not looking it up, but they want to learn about it and they don't want to forget it, then we have them put it up on a sticky note and put it up on the curiosity board. So
right now it's all full of stickies, but sometimes there's pictures too.
Yeah, or drawings.
Oh, well, there's a drawing right over there.
Oh yeah, right there. Let's see, that one says St. Patrick's Day when we do the little St. Patrick's Day dance. Yep. That's funny. Yep. Anyway, so this is and we take pictures of it often and we put it into our book, our memory book. But this is just another way to help that curiosity, so that sometimes I have a question and I know that I can't study it, but I can just quickly put it up here or put it in my phone so that I can remember, oh, let's talk to the kids about this. Or what do I need? What do I want to learn about? So those are the kinds of things that we put here. So that's our curiosity board. And I encourage you don't have to do all of them, but I really like the curiosity board. And I think that it would be a great place to continue to be curious and to continue to help your children be that way.
It works well to not be, you have a place you could put it where you could say, hey, I'm curious about that. And then you just go back to it once in a while. You see it as you pass by and whatnot.
Oh yeah, you see it.
And so it keeps it going in your mind.
You say, hey, there's another paper up there. What does that say?
Yeah, but even the one that you put up personally, sometimes I know I'm interested. I'm excited I'm interested in something, and I spend, an hour or two doing it, looking at it and thinking about it and finding things out about it, and then life happens.
Yeah,
I'm doing work, or I'm doing editing of a video or something, or doing just stuff with the family, and then suddenly weeks go by and I forgot all about it. But it was something I really wanted to study, and I forgot. If you put it up on the board, it's there and it's ready for you when you're ready to do it.
Right. Yep. Very good. All right. So our last video for curiosity is Mary Ann Johnson, and she's going to be talking about what she does with her grandchildren. So enjoy.
Sometimes our kids aren't curious enough to want to even learn. How would you go about increasing our curiosity in our children?
Well, I'll tell you how I do it with my grandkids.
Okay.
So we walk,
Go
and
on.
I say, we're looking for treasures.
Mm.
When we first started walking, treasures included pine cones and gum. Gum wrappers,
Okay.
empty bottles, sticks. But because we were searching, I was at liberty then to point out anything. You see this flower? Do you know what Fibonacci numbers are? Oh, this flower has them. And I don't know much about that, but enough. And I could show them that. Or I could...
Love it.
I love bugs. I'm not afraid of spiders or insects. And I'd say, oh, look, there's a spider. How many legs does it have? And I help them just be excited about things. I'm actually pretty excited about things that, other people don't think are exciting. I find dead bugs and I haul them home. I find coins, or I find a stick that's particularly interesting, and I haul it home. I say, look what I found.
Awesome.
If I'm curious, and if I'm curious all the time, they cannot help but be curious.
Yeah.
We cannot get so involved in the management of our lives that there's no room for us to be curious or to feel joy over simple things like flowers and water and sunsets, these things.
Yeah.
We can't expect our children to have or understand or know what we've not shown them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would like you to go back that last part. I always think, I'm going to memorize that. She goes, we can't be.
You know what? I have the monitor here. I'm gonna listen.
Okay.
I just missed it
you
there
missed
too.
it too. Darn. Well, anyway, we can't allow something that we don't understand. We don't let we can't expect our children to learn what we don't understand ourselves. Yeah. So, and I think that's really prevalent, that we need to be curious ourselves for sure, but not to expect them to be curious if we're not ourselves. Yeah. That's super important.
Well, I noticed she also said something about you know, if you organize your life too much and you just have everything so rigid, you're focusing in on those things, you don't have time to be curious and
you're going to miss it. Yeah, you'll miss the beauty.
You know, I've a couple different friends have mentioned recently in the last few months that how important it is to get out into nature and just look around and wonder. Yeah. And that's part of being curious.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I remember when we moved from Idaho to Utah, and Idaho was such a hard place for me to live. And when we moved back to Utah and I saw the mountains, I couldn't get enough of them. I was like, I have to have the mountains. Every day I would sit there and stare at them. Or I'd be driving down State Street and just looking at the mountains. I mean, it was so much, I know.
Supposed to be looking at the road.
Right. But I was so, I don't know, enamored, but comforted. They gave me such comfort. And to have those mountains nearby, it had begun. We only lived here, a year and a half?
Yeah.
But wow, I had just depended on them. And when we came back to them, I was just, they're a part of me now.
Cool.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
All right.
So that ends our curiosity piece, but not completely, totally. Are we going to do our relationship tip first and then we'll do it? Okay.
Because I want the video ready, so that kind of makes it
right after the video, right after our relationship tip, we're going to talk about another tip that also creates curiosity.
Hi, I'm Trista Neal.
And I'm Tom Neal. And we have more tip for you.
Ooh, what's this one?
This tip is going to be brief inserts. What?
Good tip.
Heck is a brief insert?
Well,
no, that's not a brief insert. Okay, so brief inserts, when you've got a conversation going with your spouse or your children, your spouse especially, this one's important for.
Oh yeah, this is actually probably my favorite one.
This is
vital. I'm telling you, vital.
I thought another one was your favorite, but okay.
Well, okay, so there's lots of favorites.
So, in this tip, I have to tell you, this is the one I learned, I was a little slow at learning. We would be having a conversation and Trista would be telling me something.
I love storytelling. I tell them stories a lot.
So she's talking to me and telling me whatever, and I'm sitting there listening.
You know, moms like to do that when the dads come home. They're like, oh, let me tell you what we did in homeschooling today. Let me tell you this and that. Did you know that Isaac said da 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 da? You know, that's what I do. I think you're like me, right? I hope. All right.
And I was just quiet.
Yeah.
But I was too quiet. That's the problem.
So
I was too quiet. I needed to say something so she knew I was even listening. Now, it's especially important if you can't see if she can't see me when we're having this conversation, it's even more important for her to have the brief insert because she has no idea if I'm listening. And that was happening all the time.
I'd be talking and talking and talking and talking. All of a sudden I'm thinking, is he even paying attention?
So the accusations start flying.
Yeah.
You're not listening to
You're
me.
not listening.
I am too. What are you talking about?
Then I quiz him, and that always goes over really well, right? I
Yeah.
quiz him. So what did I just last say then? Yeah, well, that's not a good thing.
I'm sure you've never done that with little kids either.
No, I've never. I'm good.
So brief inserts. Brief inserts are easy. They're like, oh, okay, I see. Just little words. Now they're brief. Now
Which is
this is
also
where
important.
this is the other half I had trouble with. I was trying to be quiet because what happens with me is you start talking to me and I get this. Oh, that reminds me of this, and I want to tell you my story. This is not time for you to share your story.
Yeah,
This is
remember
just
that.
a
That's like
brief.
really key.
The key word here is brief. Brief insert. And so it's
Like,
just
I felt that way before. I mean, that's as
Then
long
that's
as
a
it
long-
should be.
that's kind of a long one.
Yeah, it's kind of long, but that's as long as it should be.
Yeah, it should never
But
be any longer than that.
yes. Oh, wow, really? Things like that. Those are the brief inserts.
Or, I see. There you go.
Yeah.
There's your tip. Brief inserts.
And just a little bonus, having eye contact with those brief inserts, that's just a bonus. That's really important.
Eye contact.
Isn't it true though? If you have the eye contact, that you know they're listening. If they're watching their television and still going you just don't think they're listening. And quite frankly, and I said this in the video, is if I don't think that they're listening, I stop talking.
Oh,
And
she does.
And it doesn't.
'Cause-
Yeah, it doesn't, and it still happens today.
Oh, yeah, I have
stop.
to remind myself. It's a constant reminder to say something.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put a plug in for next week then, right
All
here.
right, okay.
Next week on the 11th, we said earlier, and that we will be having the fathers there,
Yes.
and Blaine Rindlisbacher's there,
Yes.
and he's going to bring that up.
That's true.
He's going to bring up those brief inserts, how important they are.
Yeah, that's right. He will. He will. That's good. Anyway, brief inserts, super important. Always remember them. And there are some people like my brother-in-law, he can definitely just talk and talk and talk and doesn't really care if there's a lot of brief inserts. But then there's people like me that if you don't have brief insert, I'm done.
Yeah.
I stop
You just
talking.
stop.
And I want to talk. I want to share, but I won't if I know I'm not being listened to. So there's your tip for today. All right, so we wanted to conclude with a message, and the message is about asking questions. Now you hear so much about asking questions so many times,
And
all
we
the
had
time, right?
we had earlier. Belinda talked about that.
Yes, she did a great job on that. Asking your kids questions so that they can
Right.
become curious. So I wanted to read a quotation by Ty Bennett. It says, "Questions create curiosity." That's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Curiosity creates engagement. Engagement creates seeking for answers. And answers create satisfaction. And satisfaction creates influence.
Wow.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
So by just asking questions, you're influencing, or it will lead to influencing them for the better or worse, depending on your types of questions. Now, another quotation that I really liked, it's just really sparked an interest in me. And when I heard it, I was like, oh, wow. And it's not even a question, it's a statement, but it did what the statement said. A good question is like an alarm clock. It awakens us out of the mental doldrums and jump starts our mental engine. Isn't that cool? I love that. It's like an alarm clock that goes, ah, whoa, I didn't ever think of that question before. And you start becoming curious about something and learning something new. So there are lots of websites, lots of things. We have written an article on questions and influencing and how you can go to that. Maybe we can make that available to them. Should we just make it as a PDF?
Which article is that?
It's this one where it talks about the different types of questions, guidelines to asking
Absolutely.
questions, and the examples of what good questions are. And we'll make that available to you as a PDF and give us a couple hours. But in there, I wanted to just talk about one. And you know, there's lots of stipulations. Don't do this and don't do that, or do this and don't do that. But one of them that I really like is to not have a specific answer. Don't ask a question that has a specific answer. So, for instance, I don't know, who is the first man on Earth? You see, you already know the answer, right? Everybody knows the answer, at least if you're in a Sunday school class, they do. And if you're asking them questions that everybody already knows, then you're making them feel like, I'm smarter than that. I'm not going to waste my intelligence on answering that question.
Well, the other end of that drives me nuts is sometimes the teacher will, Sunday school teachers kind of tend to
want a specific answer. Yeah.
They're looking for one exact answer.
Mm-hmm.
And there could be great answers going around the room, but they're looking for one particular answer.
Yeah.
And when you are specifically looking for that one little answer, you're losing out on all of the other answers, or the curiosity of where you could go with the conversation that might be more pertinent.
That's true. That's true.
Just by doing that.
All right. Well, we've gone over our time. Do you want to do tell what's coming up next week, and then I'll end with the scripture.
Okay. Just a reminder that we already mentioned the Father's thing, because I mentioned Blaine and all, but we have something to make them curious.
Okay. Good.
Okay. So we have had a lot of people asking, presenters and vendors and attendees asking about our normal yearly live event. And we have evaluated my health and evaluated what we're doing here, both in this free half-hour show and the show, the monthly conference sessions. And we're going to combine all that with in August. Right now, we don't have an exact place or date yet, but in August, we are going to come live, not just live through the internet, but live in person. We will bring several of our favorite presenters and give you some very specific material that will help your families grow in the gospel and strengthen your families and your schools.
Yes. And we're excited about that.
We're excited about it.
It would be great to have the LDS Homeschool Conference come back and be alive, since we had to skip last year. And
it will still be, we are still switching it to the name Called to Learn, but it's the Called to Learn live event. And so you're going to love that.
Yep.
So, okay.
All right. I just wanted to end with the scripture. And this is where Jesus Christ is asking us to be curious. At least this is how I interpret it. He says, learn of me, listen to my words, walk in the meekness of my spirit, and ye shall have peace. And so he's telling us what to do. He's asking us to learn, to study, and to become like him and to act like him. So I just wanted to leave with that, to continue to learn about Jesus Christ, to be curious about what he does and how he can help you in your life. Thanks.
Okay. We will see you next week, and twice next week.
Yes.
Once for this
live session,
and
then the conference.
The conference session. Okay. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.